Good afternoon, Reading. This is Miss Amie Vanité back here on 91.3 WXAC for a Drag Queen Story Hour program. I have some wonderful books with me today that we're going to read. So, to get started, let me grab my guitar here real quick, and we'll just sing a little ditty. I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle dove. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. And I like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once all standing hand in hand, and hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. That's the song I hear. Let the world sing today, oh yeah. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. La 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 la. Do-do-do-do-do in perfect harmony. La 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 la. This is my third time here within less than a week over at Albright. And here at the studio is my second time. I was over here earlier in the week for a BCTV interview for Reading Theater Project's 5-Minute Fringe Fest, which is coming up this week later it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Yoakum Institute. And it's just wonderful theater pieces that have been locally written, designed, produced, and we just have so much fun doing it. I'll be performing 2 pieces, one of my own that I wrote. It's more or less a true story of my life a few years ago. And I'm also performing another piece that my friend Sue Lang wrote, and she was the writer of a movie that I did over the summer called Dust Nuggets. There was all sorts of hubbub about that over the weekend and today. We're doing lots of promotional things for that. So that was BCTV for Fringe Fest. I was over here, and then I came back over here on Valentine's Day to do a private gig for the students about self-love, which is what my Story Hour program today is kind of going to, tie into some things from that program I did on Friday on Valentine's Day. Happy belated Valentine's Day, everyone, by the way. And now I'm here again today. So before I ramble too much, let's get into some lovely little stories, which most of them are about family and love. And then we're going to have some other little things. More kind of educational, but also story-like as well. So, first on my list of books today that I'm going to read, I have Heather Has 2 Mommies by Leslie Newman. Heather lives in a house with a big apple tree in the front yard and lots of tall grass in the backyard. Heather's favorite number is 2. She has 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 hands, and 2 feet. Heather has 2 pets, a ginger-colored cat named Ginger Snap, and a big black dog named Midnight. Heather also has 2 mommies, Mama Jane and Mama Kate. Mama Kate is a doctor. She has 2 stethoscopes so she and Heather can listen to each other's heartbeats. Mama Jane is a carpenter. She has 2 hammers so she and Heather can build things together. Heather and her mommies have lots of fun together. On sunny days, they go to the park. On rainy days, they stay inside and bake cookies. Heather likes to eat 2 ginger snaps and drink a big glass of milk. One day, Mama Kate and Mama Jane tell Heather that they have a surprise for her. "You're going to start school next week," Mama Kate says. "There'll be lots of other kids to play with and a teacher named Ms. Molly," adds Mama Jane. "Can Midnight and Ginger Snap come too?" asks Heather. "No, they have to stay home," Mama Jane says. "But you can bring 2 special things with you," says Mama Kate. Heather chooses her favorite blue blanket to rest with at nap time and her favorite red cup to drink out of at snack time. Soon the big day arrives and Mama Kate and Mama Jane take Heather to her new school. There are so many things to play with. Heather sees building blocks, dress-up clothes, crayons, and paint. Heather also sees a big round table for snack time and a quiet, cozy corner for nap time. While Mama Jane and Mama Kate talk to Ms. Molly, Heather puts 2 puzzles together, all by herself. Soon it's time for Mama Jane and Mama Kate to leave. They kiss Heather goodbye, and Heather cries, but only a little. Heather has lots of fun at her new school. She builds a tower out of building blocks and dresses up like a firefighter. She drinks apple juice out of her favorite red cup at snack time and rests in a quiet corner with her favorite blue blanket at nap time. After nap time, all the children sit in a circle while Ms. Molly reads them a story about a boy whose father is a veterinarian. "Who knows what a veterinarian is?" asked Ms. Molly. "I do. My mommy is a veterinarian," Juan says. "A veterinarian is an animal doctor." "My daddy is a people doctor," shouts David. "My mommy is a people doctor too," Heather shouts even louder. "What does your daddy do?" David asks Heather. "I don't have a daddy," Heather says. She looks around the circle and wonders, "Am I the only one here who doesn't have a daddy?" "I have an idea," Ms. Molly says. "Let's all draw pictures of our families." Juan draws his mommy, daddy, and big brother Carlos. Miriam draws her mommy and her sister Rachel playing in the park. Stacy draws her daddy and her papa reading her stories. Joshua hangs up the picture he drew of his mommy and stepfather dropping him off at his daddy's house. Emily tapes up the picture she drew of her grandma and their 2 puppies, Emmett and Charlie. David straightens out the picture he drew the day his mommy and daddy brought his new sister Veronica home. Ms. Molly looks at all the pictures. "It doesn't matter how many mommies or how many daddies your family has," Miss Molly says. "It doesn't matter if your family has sisters or brothers or cousins or grandmas or grandpas or aunts or uncles. Each family is special. The most important thing about a family is that all the people in it love each other." Soon Heather's first day of school is over. When Mama Kate and Mama Jane arrive to pick her up, Heather shows them all the pictures. "Is that me?" Mama Kate asks, pointing to Heather's picture. "And is that me?" Mama Jane asks, pointing to. "This is the mommy I love the best, Heather says, pointing to her picture. And this is the mommy I love the best, Heather says, pointing again. Mama Kate and Mama Jane both laugh as Heather gives each of them 2 kisses. Then she takes their hands and they all head home. The end. It's a lovely story about families. So to continue with our little Valentine's Day, post-Valentine's Day, I should say, edition, I have one of my favorite books here, which I did read on Friday for the little self-love event here at Albright. This book is actually on the banned books list. There's a banned books list, by the way. Books people don't want other people to read for some reason. So this book is called A Day in the Life of Marlon Bundo, written by Marlon Bundo with Jill Twiss. Hello, my name is Marlon Bundo, and I am a bunny. I live with Mom, Grandma, and Grandpa in an old stuffy house on the grounds of the U.S. Naval Observatory. That's because my grandpa is the vice president. His name is Mike Pence. But this story isn't going to be about him because he isn't very fun. This story is about me because I'm very, very fun. This is the story of my very special day. My very special day started out like every other day. I woke up all alone. Then I ate a fine bunny breakfast all alone, while I watched the news all alone. You see, sometimes old stuffy houses are also lonely. After breakfast, I hopped to the garden to look at the flowers and say, "Hello down there," to the bugs. "Hello, Phil. Hello, Dennis." That is when I saw him. He was a big, fluffy bunny with the floppiest floppy ears and the bushiest bushy tail. He was bunny beautiful. I was standing still, but being near him made me feel like my heart was still hopping. "My name is Marlon," I said, "but my family calls me Botus. It's short for Bunny of the United States. It's a long story." "My name is Wesley, and my family calls me Wesley," said Wesley. Wesley and I hopped together all around the garden. We hopped over daisies. We hopped over tiny carrots that weren't ready to grow up and be lunches yet. We hopped over Phil and Dennis. Once we had hopped through every part of the garden, we didn't want to stop hopping. So we hopped right inside the old stuffy house. We hopped up and down the creaky stairs and made beautiful creaky stair music together. We hopped through the kitchen and maybe left a few bunny prints. We hopped through very boring meetings with very boring people. It was a very good hop. It was the best hop. And I realized something when I hopped with Wesley. My old stuffy house didn't feel so lonely anymore. And at the end of our hop, I said, "Wesley, I don't want to hop without you ever again." And Wesley said, "That's funny because I never want to hop without you, Marlon Bundo, ever again." And we both said, "We will get married and hop together forever." "Hello, everyone," we said to all the animals in the garden. "Hello, Phil and Dennis the bugs, and Pumpernickel, who is a badger, and Scooter, who is a turtle, and Dill Prickle, who is a hedgehog, and Mr. Paws, who is a very good dog. Hello, all of you. We are getting married so we can hop together forever." "Hooray," said Phil and Dennis the bugs, and Pumpernickel, who is a badger, and Scooter, who is a turtle, and Dill Prickle, who is a hedgehog, and Mr. Paws, who is a very good dog. "Hooray," said all of our friends, because that is what friends say. "Wait," said a scary voice. "You can't get married." We looked around and saw that the scary voice was coming from the stink bug. Let me tell you a little bit about the stink bug. The stink bug was in charge. He was important. None of the other animals could quite work out why he was in charge or how he was important, but he was, and that meant he made the rules. That meant all the animals listened to him, even though he was, and this is true, very stinky. Boy bunnies don't marry boy bunnies, said the stink bug. Boy bunnies have to marry girl bunnies. But this is the bunny I love, said Wesley. And this is the bunny I love, said me, Marlin Bundo. Just being next to Wesley made me feel a little braver. Too bad, said the stink bug. I am the stinkiest and I am important. I am the stinkiest and I am in charge. Boy bunnies marry girl bunnies. Girl bunnies marry boy bunnies. This is the way it has always been. You are different, and different is bad. The other animals whispered nervously amongst themselves. Pumpernickel, who is a badger, came forward. I am different too, he said. I eat my sandwiches crust first. I am different too, said Dill Prickle, who is a hedgehog. I read the ends of books before I read the beginnings, just to make sure they're not too sad for me. I am different too, said Mr. Paws, who is a very good dog. Sometimes I sniff butts, and I don't know why. Everyone is different. And different is not bad, said Scooter, who was a turtle. Different is special. Wait, said Mr. Paws, who is a very good dog and also a very smart dog. Wait a minute. We get to decide who is in charge. We get to decide who is important. We can vote. And on this very special day, all the animals voted on who they wanted to have in charge. They chose not the stink bug. Hooray, said me, Marlin Bundo. Hooray, said Wesley. Hooray, said all of our friends. Because that is what friends say. No, boomed the stink bug. Boy bunnies can't marry boy. You are not in charge, shouted all of the animals. So Wesley and I got married. We had 2 handsome grooms otters named Muffins and Cubby, and a flower mouse named Hiccup. We ate and drank and danced the hokey pokey. Dill Prickle was especially good. And the ceremony was performed by a cat named Pajama, who brought her wife as her date. After we ate and drank and danced, we went home together. We have to get some sleep, Marlin. Tomorrow we leave on our bunny moon. Because it doesn't matter if you love a girl bunny or a boy bunny, or eat your sandwich backward or forward. Stink bugs are temporary. Love is forever. The end. Isn't that such a cute story? I don't understand why it's on the banned books list. I mean, I probably do, but we won't get into that. So I think I'll sing another little song for you, and then we'll read some other books. So let me grab my guitar real quick again. It's a very ancient saying, but a true and honest thought, that if you become a teacher, by your pupils you'll be taught. As a teacher I've been learning, do forgive me if I boast, and I've now become an expert on the subject I like most. Getting to know you. Getting to know you. Getting to know all about you. Getting to like you. Getting to hope you like me. Getting to know you. Putting it my way, but nicely. You are precisely my cup of tea. Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy. When I'm with you, getting to know what to say. Haven't you noticed? Suddenly I'm bright and breezy because of all the beautiful and new things I'm learning about you day by day. I just love that song. It's one of my very favorites. And this book is called It Feels Good to Be Yourself. It's a book about gender identity, and it's written by Teresa Thorne. This is Ruthie. She's a transgender girl. That means when she was born, everyone thought she was a boy. Until she grew a little older, old enough to tell everyone that she's actually a girl. Girl is Ruthie's gender identity. This is Ruthie's brother Xavier. Xavier is a cisgender boy. That means when Xavier was born, everyone thought he was a boy. And as he grew older, it turned out everyone was right. He is a boy. Boy is Xavier's gender identity. There are so many different ways to be a boy or a girl. Too many to fit in a book. But not everyone feels like either a boy or a girl. Non-binary is a helpful word that can describe a kid who doesn't feel exactly like a boy or a girl. This is Ruthie's friend Alex. Alex is both a boy and a girl. When Alex was born, everyone thought Alex was a girl. But Alex is both boy and girl. This is Alex's gender identity. This is Alex's friend JJ. JJ is neither a boy nor a girl. Ever since JJ was very little, they never felt exactly like a boy or a girl. They just felt like themselves. This is JJ's gender identity. Alex and JJ are both non-binary. Just like there are many ways to be a boy or a girl, there are many different ways to be non-binary, too many to fit in a book. Some kids feel like girls. Some kids feel like boys. Some kids feel like a little bit of both, part boy, part girl. Some kids don't feel exactly like a boy or a girl. They feel like neither. Some kids feel that their gender identity isn't always the same. It's often changing. And even with all these possible ways to be, some kids don't feel any of the words they know fit them exactly right. There are a never-ending number of ways to be yourself in the world. Whether you feel like a boy, a girl, both, or neither, or if you describe yourself another way, that is your gender identity. Your gender identity might match what people thought you were when you were born, or it might not. See, when you were born, you couldn't tell people who you were or how you felt. They looked at you and made a guess. Maybe they got it right. Maybe they got it wrong. What a baby's body looks like when they're born can be a clue to what the baby's gender will be, but not always. When people guess wrong, it's okay to let them know. Ruthie was 5 when she told her parents, "I know you think I'm a boy, but really, I feel like a girl." Oops, Ruthie was a girl all along. They just didn't know it at first. When people guess right, it's also okay to let them know. Xavier was 3.5 when he told his family, "I'm a boy. I like being a boy." You might feel like a boy. You might feel like a girl. You might feel like both boy and girl, or like neither. You might feel like your gender changes from day to day or from year to year. You might feel that none of these words describe you perfectly. You might not be sure yet. Maybe you're still figuring it out. Your feelings about your gender are real. Listen to your heart. No matter what your gender identity is, you are okay exactly the way you are. And you are loved. It feels good to be yourself, doesn't it? The end. Now I'm going to read some stuff about pronouns because I think it's good. A lot of people have had questions for me lately about pronouns and how to use them correctly. So there's a little note at the end of this book about pronouns, and I have another book here that has some other wonderful stuff in it that I'll read afterwards. So here is a note about pronouns found in the back of It Feels Good to Be Yourself. She, her, he, him, they, them, and z, here are some of the pronouns people of different gender identities may use to refer to themselves and would like others to use when talking to or about them. We can't know for sure what anyone's gender identity is just by looking at them or listening to them speak, and we can't know for sure which pronouns they use either. When we guess or assume and use the wrong words, we can really hurt people. A good first step is to listen. Someone who already knows a person well will probably use the correct pronouns when referring to that person, and we can follow their lead. It can be okay to ask about pronouns, but it is important to be sensitive. It might not be the right time or place to ask, or the person may not be ready to talk about it. If we introduce ourselves and share the pronouns we use, we can make it easier for the person we are meeting to do the same if they feel comfortable. This other book I have here is called Free to Be by Maya and Matthew. It's kind of a very hard book to read on the radio because it's mostly pictures and a lot of pronouns. So I'm going to skip to the end and read a little bit more about pronouns. When you were born, you were given a name and a pronoun, probably he or she. As you get older and know yourself more and more on the inside, some of the ideas of she and he may fit you, and some of them may not. Ideas about he and she are very strong right now. Many people believe he means only certain things, and she means only certain things. These ideas affect what people think about everything: how you dress, how you wear your hair, or how you express the spirit of who you are, even what colors you like. People can think they know what your pronoun is based on their ideas about she and he. This is a way of only looking at the outside of a person and not the inside of a person. On the inside, you may not feel like he or she at all. Maybe they feels the most free, or you may feel like both she and he. But mostly, you probably just feel like yourself. This inside part is the most important part because there is no one else like you in the world. This is why everyone should be free to be exactly who they are on the inside. Who you are is not always something you can put into words or explain. You just know who you are because you are. Pronouns can be a way to share how you feel on the inside because this inside part is the most important part of you. It cannot be about outside ideas of how people think she or he is supposed to act. It has to be about how you feel. The truth is, ideas about he and she change all the time. If they don't fit, you might be an important part of changing them. Because there is only one you, only you can know you. That means there is never a right or wrong way to be you. Only your way. This is also why only you can know what pronoun expresses the spirit of who you are on the inside. And why being free to claim the pronoun or pronouns that feel right to you is important. You know what feels right to you both inside and outside. You can even have an inside pronoun and an outside pronoun. Not only he and she mean more than what people think. There are also more pronouns than just she and he. You are not alone if he and she don't fit. Many people have played with pronouns and still do because of how they feel inside. Here are some ideas. You can use your own name as your pronoun. You can change pronouns from he to she or from she to he. You can use new ones like Z or create your own like tree. Some people use they, which is a perfect way. There are many more pronouns waiting to be discovered and used. People are creating new pronouns all the time. To begin creating room for everyone, including yourself, there are ways to use pronouns that make room for more than just she and he. When you first meet someone, tell them your name, and you can ask theirs. You don't have to know more than that to play. If you hear a pronoun from that person, great, you can use that pronoun. If you don't hear a pronoun from that person, and you need to use one, you could use they and keep playing. And maybe they is what they love to be called anyway. And what about you? Do you like to be called they too? You could share your pronoun by saying it plain and simple if you want, or you could just stick with your name. Do what feels right to you. Doing things like this lets people know that you have bigger ideas about he and she, and you know there are more than two pronouns and ways of being yourself in the world. This helps everyone feel freer and more welcome to play. If you want to keep playing with as many people as possible and making room for yourself, keep playing with pronouns. You can practice seeing more of the inside of people and not just the outside of people. Use your imagination to play with how characters in movies and books could feel on the inside. Begin by using they for different characters, or change a main character from he to she, or from she to he. You don't have to change their name, just their pronoun. Playing like this gives you even bigger ideas about he and she, and gives you bigger ideas how people feel on the inside, including you. Keep claiming, keep playing, keep knowing yourself inside and out. You rock. So that's a little bit of information on pronouns and greeting new people that you meet throughout the course of your life. I think I'm coming to the end of my program, so I'm going to sing one more little song, and then I'll be back next month. So let me grab my guitar. You've heard me play it before, and you'll hear me play it again, because it is my favorite song to play. But I am learning some new ones. I've got a couple on my list that I've been working on. One of them I stole from Mr. Rogers. Because, Mr. Rogers. Oh, what a guy. What a guy. Okay. Here we go. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on a morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do you think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that called the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La-dee-da-dee-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Well, that's it for another Drag Queen Story Hour with Miss Amie here on 91.3 WXAC. I'll be back next month, the third Monday of the month. Have a lovely rest of your month. Happy belated Valentine's Day. And have just a great time being yourself and getting to know other people around you. Take care.